Welcome to the UN Brief. I'm your host, Maya Plants. Today we interviewed DDB's creative team on their campaign for UNESCO Cookies Factory. Thank you for watching and listening to the UN Brief, and don't forget to subscribe. But I liked the idea that UNESCO came with a playful way of addressing the issue.
So the problem of artificial intelligence is that they are trained on data, and we are the data. Our every move on digital device on the web is data. So one of the most obvious tools to use was, the cookies, because they are widely known. They are here for quite a long time. We know that they are going to be, replaced by some more advanced technology.
Brilliant advertising, as we are trying to do at DDB, it means that we believe in ideas stronger than in tools to get people. We think that a clever idea can get people touched by it, and the better they understand what you are trying to say or trying to sell, the better they can be agree or disagree with you, but they have a point.
Yes, the advertising world has forgotten a bit the power of storytelling, right? Really, of getting the audiences engaged in such way that they have to watch to the end, they have to engage, like the Cookies Factory.
It's always the first question that we ask ourselves is, how can we make this interesting for people? It's like the taste of a cognac. It sounds very complex. It sounds like, analogy or things like that. But no, it can be a sci-fi movie. Same for cookies and for, data and privacy of data. It sounds very complex. It sounds not engaging at all.
Actually, we do have a quite simple filter before presenting an idea. It's quite simple and instinctive, but do we find it cool ourselves? Do we find it exciting? Do we find it cool? Because if we don't find it cool, if we don't find it exciting, why people should feel excited as well? So we need to be the first audience to be excited by the idea, to be surprised by an idea before going to present it. In the case of the cookie or the NXT, we do have a brilliant client behind us who truly believe in creation, that are true believer in surprising and okay. We need to explore this way to touch people, because if we don't, we will have the same speech or the same communication as the other people, so it won't be interesting at all. First of all, it's coming from the creative team with Chanel and Lucy, who are working at DDB at the agency, and they were coming with this idea that, the artificial intelligence is like a black box. Everybody is talking about it, but nobody knows what it's talking about. So that's kind of a weird question. And that was what Pierre was saying just before. It's how do we make it tangible? How can we prove that an AI is a tool before everything, and it can be used in a dangerous way, as it's used in a very good way in medicine field, in the surgery and this kind of stuff. It's a magnificent tool. But when it's about surveillance, when it's about controlling people, when it's about I can't recognize a black face from a white face, or I can't recognize many Asian or African American, it can become really dangerous for the world. We have to be fun and to explain what is about in everyday life. And the lowest use of the AI is just for selling stuff to people. And you can see it every day when you're just surfing your browser. Mm-hmm. So that was the clever point from the creative team in the beginning.
Yes, indeed. It made it very easy to understand what are cookies, what do they do, how do people understand something that's somewhat complex, technically speaking, right, for someone who is not into the ad tech world. So what were the challenges too? Because you're seeing this revolution, these changes now that will be happening in terms of advertising campaigns. So where are you focusing now? Where are you looking at in terms of the evolution? Because you don't rely anymore on per click, or this model is sort of being put into question. So
you can do great advertising if you don't truly hate this market, this field, because most of the time there's not so much good ads in the world. So you have to see how bad we are as an industry. I mean, bad in the way we are doing it. And then you have to want truly to change it, to find something different, to make it, okay, let's make this industry move a bit forward, find something else, something different. So we truly hate it to make it every day the way we want. And
you know, we are creative, so we don't care too much about targeting. You know, targeting was not there like 15 years ago, and we were making good advertising. Our job is to make anything interesting and address you know, the widest public as possible. So if there is no targeting anymore, it's fine. If it's replaced by something else, it's fine. Today the biggest issue is, you know, for our clients, because they used to rely a lot on targeting, on media plans, and not so much on creativity anymore. Because
Indeed,
their
yes.
impact was guaranteed by, you know, targeting and media buying. So numbers.
How did you guys came together? Because you've known each other for about a decade, I think. You've been, you know, gathering all these gold awards, and tell me about the Ken, you know, you name it. You have all the big ones. So
100 years ago.
yeah, actually, we have kind of love lightning when we met, actually. And for the first time, maybe at school, we discovered...
un coup de foudre.
Exactly.
Un coup de foudre. It's like...
It starts as a creative coup de foudre, you know, it's complicated.
Yeah. That's exactly, you finish each other's sentences, right?
And not always, and most of the time we are not agreed on the idea, and we do believe that when both of us are agreed on idea, it means, okay, that's maybe an idea that we need to work on. Because if just one of us is not agreed with the idea, it means, okay, it's not a powerful idea. And there was this, we have a school that was a great school, but they decided to kill the ego of the creative people from the beginning. They say, if you want to work in the creative field, as a graphic designer, as an advertiser, as whatever you want, you have to kill your creative ego. You have to understand that the idea is not everything. So you must have to discuss with people about an idea. You have to know how to defend it. And when you hear something intelligent from the other side, you have to know how to recognize a clever thought about an idea, even if it's killed the idea. So maybe it's one of the biggest points we have with Pierre. It's we can understand where the other touch a point with the idea and say, okay, it's a fair point. We have to kill it and find something better. Mm-hmm. And it's not always easy to find a kind of soulmate in creative field, somebody you can discuss freely about ideas.
And disagree and to propel the project forward, right? Yes.
Disagreeing is very important.
Yeah,
you have to be able to disagree with, you know, with your teammates and not, you know, feel hurt about that, you know, and the other way around. So it's very important.
And as we are still a young couple, we always want to impress the other guy. So most of the time we know, okay, not today, I won't impress him. It's not a problem, I have to work better. And every time we want the other to be happy, to be excited about the idea, the point we had. And if it's not, we are as sad as the other. Actually, we are even more sadder because, man, I cannot excite him today. It's a problem. We have to work on it.
Yes, and then one thing that's coming up now is the metaverse too, no? So that should be huge, right? I'm just thinking. Because now we have more points, you know, like 3D, like how you move, right? Beside, I mean, already this is on the play, right? How you move your hands, how you click, but your body is there already with the cookies and all. But I think now with the metaverse is going to be even more challenging in terms of privacy issues, ethical issues, or the good things too, what you can do, right? When you cannot be in the same room with someone who is living in another country, or working with teams that are distributed. So
actually, this is the next field to discover is the metadata, because for now the metadata is quite not important for advertiser, because we are not UX or UI designers, so we don't really need it. But when tomorrow the metadata will help us to craft some experience in the metaverse, we do need data about the field, the body, the psyche, how somebody react to the position of someone. Do we have to have a show far away, very close? What does it create? It's actually the communication will become more than close to theater or to cinema or art than ever before, because the body will be involved into it, and with the body comes the fear, comes everything very primitive in the human field. So
yeah, I think, I mean, the metaverse is not a technological revolution. It was supposed to be a political revolution. It was supposed to be anonymous. It was supposed to be decentralized. And if now it's owned by Meta or, I know, Mark Zuckerberg, and by big brands, and you know, the entry ticket is like $10,000. I mean, it's not gonna work like that. So the technologies they are using exist already.
Right, with Second Life, right?
3 years ago, we were doing virtual reality stuff, you know, and things like that. There's nothing new. So let's see. But yes, in terms of experience, in terms of storytelling, it could be really, really interesting. But right now, it's just a giant supermarket for crypto billionaires, and it's not really appealing. I mean, if Mark Zuckerberg had not, you know, renamed Facebook for Meta a few months ago, nobody would care about metaverse.
What are the challenges today for brands?
The concurrent of Nike or the concurrent is not Adidas. The concurrent of Walmart is not another mall. I mean, the first concurrent we do have is Amazon Prime. It's Netflix. It's all the content that influencer of comedian are doing for free or looking it as it was free. So today, before we have to fight another brand in the communication field. Now we can't be bored anymore. If we want, we could be entertained for the rest of our life. We don't have to wait to see a great movie. We don't have to wait to have a great laugh. We don't have to wait to eat. We don't have to wait for anything. We are killing the boredness today, and we have to fight against all the other people around. And Netflix is our big concurrent, actually. So this is like David and Goliath. We don't have the choice to be entertained.
We have 30 seconds. 1 minute max.
To make them want to watch more, right? You
Yes.
need to make that. So yeah.
And to make them remember us, you know, because they have watched so many stuff in one day, like billions of, you know, snaps, YouTube videos, stories, movies, series.
TikTok.
And in the middle, they have seen maybe
No, yeah.
10 advertising, maybe one that they watched, you know, to the end. And we have to be this one, the one they remember, because it's useless. So yeah, it's quite challenging, and it's quite exciting.
Thank you for watching the UN Brief, and don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Twitter @MayaPlants.